Welcome back, students, as we prepare for another episode of DC Graduates. I am one of your teachers, your Dr. Recommended Dose of Nerdiness, aka your Nerdy Day, Carlos Rodriguez. And joining me, as always, especially for the bonus episode of DC Graduate, we have my teacher in crime.
Oh, yeah.
Sly, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Super, one might say.
See what you did there. See what you did there. See what you did there. Yes, and that is important because today we are talking about 2026 Supergirl live action. Again, typically the emphasis of the show was, hey, DC movies can be good as long as they're animated. But with James Gunn, starting a whole new universe, we figured, hey, let's give it a shot. Now we're not following.
Give them a chance.
We'll
see how it goes.
Yeah.
You know what? And so far, we were very positive on Superman. So we'll see how we land on this.
We're 50-50 on Creature Commandos.
Oh, yep, that's right. Yeah. I completely forgot Creature Commandos is part of this universe.
And we're not watching
we're
Peacemaker.
half and half on that one.
We're not watching
We are not watching Pacemaker.
No, I don't
Everybody
think we're
loves
cover
Pacemaker.
live action shows. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Good for them.
That's not even on John Cena. I love it. I'm watching, but we're not watching it for content.
Nope.
watching it because we want to. But yeah.
We can watch things for enjoyment. I didn't know if you know this.
We can separate them. Yeah, they don't have to be together. Yeah. But as I talked about at the top of the show, we are checking out Supergirl 2026. We both had the luxury and the honor of watching it over the weekend. So without further ado, host history. This is our first time both watching this film. So
only watched it once.
Only watched
Saturday
it once.
at 11:15 a.m.
Oh, I had Saturday at 4-ish, right? It was 4. I feel like it was 4.
That was the only open caption screening I could make it to.
I don't even think there's any in my area. Like my theater. My one theater is really sparse. The one in Delaware near me.
Yeah.
So that one's really sparse about open captions. I haven't seen the AMC though. I will say shout out to AMC.
AMC usually is the best.
Yeah. I've seen that open captions at pretty much every AMC that I ever look at for any film.
Usually it's only like 2 a week per film.
Yeah.
But that's better than 0.
That's true. And part of me wants to be like, oh, let's give a benefit of the doubt to the smaller cinema. I'll call them out. I'm not calling them out, but like I'll say they're it's called Penn Cinema. There's only like 3 of them in like the Delaware, Pennsylvania area. And they're small. That doesn't give them an excuse for not having open captions. There's a lot of shows. But this film was directed by Craig Gillespie. It was written by Anna Nogueira. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I've never heard her name said out loud.
No, I've seen it so many times too, funny enough.
Right, yeah.
Studio is DC Studios. It stars Akar Zor-El, Millie Alcock, Eve Ridley, Matthias. Wow. Shonen Arts? Sure. Diamond Murtaugh, Jason Momoa, David Krumholtz, Emily Beachman, and David Cornswood, as well as a plethora
like how you saved him for the last.
I mean, he's barely in this film. And listen, I love Superman. We all know this. I love Clark Kent, one of my favorite all-time characters. But we talked about this before. The extended Super family, the extended Bat family. That's the bread and butter right there. That's the bread and butter.
Correct.
Now, can you stream this movie? Sure, if you had some illegal site. We didn't do that. Go see it in theaters. Support James Gunn. Support this film. Eventually, it's going to be on HBO Max. So as this recording,
support women's wrongs.
Yes, rights and wrongs. Support messy women, as we do.
Hell yeah! Our favorite type of women.
I have an interesting question for you, Slab, because there is a discourse, and we'll get into it in the.
I have not seen any of the discourse. I'm gonna let you know right now.
I'm glad. I really am. I'm really glad.
Okay.
Because I talked to his friend of the show, Cam. He was on previously on Mario's Halo show. Philadelphia native. We actually grew up around each other. He wrote for oh my god, what was the website Mario used to work for? I'm trying to think.
Oh gosh. I know. I can see the logo in my brain. We talked about it so many times.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Great work there. Anyways,
both Cams work there. But yeah, Cam, we spoke about it. I posted my Letterboxd star review on my Instagram. You can check it out at Nerdy Day. And I came out pretty
They
positive
can't check
about it.
out your story by the time this comes out. I hate to break it to
No,
you.
but if you check out, what was it,
It'll be posted somewhere.
letterboxd.com/nerdaday? Yeah, I'm sure it's around there.
There you go.
I came out pretty positive on it. I think you might be in the same boat. We'll see in a moment, but
we'll see.
There
I don't know why I
is
was being facetious about that. I had a
No.
great time.
There is unfortunately a big discourse online about this film. It seems as though, unfortunately, this movie might be a flop as of opening weekend at least. I hope it's not in the long run. How filled was your theater?
Again, I went to an open caption screening, which usually is just me and maybe 2 other people.
Fair.
But it was, like, decently full. Like, a
Okay.
surprising amount of people for an open caption screening at 11:15 AM on a Saturday, of Pride weekend. So, I thought this movie was doing great because there was, like, a good chunk of people in this screening.
We're talking about Seattle during Pride? Yeah, no, that's good money. They got good money.
And people are showing up to the superhero open caption movie screening.
Hell yeah, those are diehard. That's what we're talking about. Day ones. My theater, and I was talking to Tara about this, was fairly empty, which was
weird.
Sadly indicative of what I've seen a lot of people online. It seems like it might be a bomb.
I'm sorry, I just have to cut in.
Yeah.
I had more people at this screening than I had at, oh gosh, what's the Spider-Man where everybody forgets about him?
No Way Home?
No Way Home. There was more people in my Supergirl screening than in my No Way Home screening.
See, and I think that's a good sign, honestly. And I wasn't too worried. I was a little worried about this specific theater because I've been there for open weekends of other films, and it was nighttime. It's like on the Delaware waterfront, this specific movie theater. So like it's kind of like happening. It's like they're kind of downtown area in Wilmington, Delaware. And it was fairly empty. Now, we did not see the IMAX screening. I don't know if the IMAX screening was filled. The regular screening we went to go see just because of the timing. It was like 450, I would say. That was a little sparse. And I was worried. I'm worried about numbers. I'm worried about the future of the DC universe and the DC studios. And only because of, and this is a good time to mention it, the Ellis family taking over. So fuck them first and foremost.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about that. I am worried about that because we let the Zack Snyder universe go for a while before we pulled the plug.
Long, arguably.
Yeah. And it's hard to tell with online and streaming and everything like that how the DC Studios universe is doing, right? We know that Superman is a hit. It seems like, at least critically, Peacemaker season 2 also a hit. I think Creature Commandos did fairly well for HBO Max. Not as well as Peacemaker season 2, but
animated never does great. Yeah,
that's why we do the show. We champion animated films here. So this is like their first big oh no, like what's going to happen moment. And I would say, as someone who watched the film, and we'll get into it more while we'll talk about our notes and roundups and everything like that, I don't think it should be a bomb. I don't feel like after the film I watch should not be a bomb. I've seen worse films, and I've seen
so many more worse films.
So many.
I love a bad movie, and I've seen a lot of bad movies. This is not one of them.
I've seen a lot of constructive criticism toward it, and those constructive criticism, I agree. I still came out liking it as opposed to some of those critics. And I would say the most egregious one is someone I do follow and like their content. I don't think they were being malicious or facetious, and they're not part of this like vocal minority who are just like, hey, it's a women-run film. Boo. There are definitely those out there. But I will say this particular critic and social media influencer akened this film to Thor: The Dark World. And I would have to say, absolutely not.
Here's the thing. I famously like Thor the Dark World more than many very popular, well
I
received
remember you saying this before,
MCU
yeah.
movies. Thor the Dark World is objectively a capital B, capital F bad film.
Mhm.
And again, I love bad movies. I thought the idea was great. The execution was not. And I enjoy the heck out of that movie. However, comma, Supergirl
Yeah.
2026,
No.
nowhere close to
No.
that level.
And I'm glad that and
Absolutely not.
I wanna address that for anyone who's, like, on the fence of possibly watching this film, and I hope that second weekend, this is coming out at, on Friday. Today's
Mhm,
Friday as of as posting. This is the second weekend for the film. It's
mhm.
holiday weekend. I'm hoping that more people get around to go seeing this film. I hope
Oh,
word
yeah.
of mouth, the positive word of mouth, I hope is there. I had my cousin, Louis, who reached out to me. He loves comic book films.
Mhm,
He reached out to me, he saw my review as well. I was like, at least a star review. He's like, yo, he's like, I hear a lot of people talking like negatively about it. Like, tell me about it. I'm like, listen, man, honestly, like if you came out not liking it, I wouldn't be surprised. There's some
mhm,
people, and I know like certain people, like if he himself came out and was like, yeah, I wasn't really feeling it, I would get it and I wouldn't be upset.
mhm.
He's not one of the type of people
Right.
that's just gonna shit on it because it's a woman-led film by a woman
Mhm,
writer, that's based off a hugely popular,
mhm,
single storyline. But I think the frustrating thing is seeing that vocal minority, and then
mhm.
you have a film like this where it's not doing well. It beholdens a lot of people and
Do
kinda
we have
shows.
we are recording this on Monday. Do we have weekend box office numbers?
If you don't mind looking that up while
I'll
I
look it up, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because the other point I wanted to bring up here was there is a film which I famously do not like, but not for the reasons that many people do like. And I will preface this by saying I am a giant, 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 giant Ghostbusters fan. Always have been
Mhm.
since I was a kid. One of my second or third Christmases, there's a video of me in a Ghostbusters jumpsuit on Christmas morning opening up all my Ghostbusters toys. My mom took that video. So when the Melissa McCarthy, um, I'm trying to think who else is in that film. Leslie Jones, that film that came out, I think it's called Answer the Call, is like
Mhm,
the tagline for that. When that came out, and let me tell you, I was the most disappointed in that film because of the cast that we were given, the writer director who I've seen do incredible things post that movie and pre that movie, and Paul Feig, and
mhm,
it just missed the critical element that is important to a Ghostbuster film, where it's like there's no, the stakes weren't too big, and there wasn't any like fun horror to it. Not necessarily like, oh my god, it scared the shit out of me like horror, but there has to be the spookiness that permeates through it. It just can't be just slapstick horror, like
mhm.
comedy,
Yeah.
and that leaned too much to the comedy and not enough to like the action adventure and horror esque of it all. Now,
Mhm,
later on, Jason Reitman would do a good job with his 2 Ghostbusters films, in my opinion. And at this time, this is when that vocal minority was growing in popularity, right? You heard all these alpha, quote unquote, alpha males talking,
mhm,
it has women in it, and all this stuff. And
mhm,
it flopped at the box office.
mhm.
And it was so frustrating to
People
be,
loved that movie, didn't
be
they?
some
I
people
feel
did.
like I feel like the people in the circles that I saw talking about it
Mhm.
were like, "Yeah, it flopped at the box office, but this is genuinely a fun, good time."
Yeah, there was a lot of good pieces there. There were a lot of pieces that I would say to again, that cast deserved a better
Mhm.
film than they were
Oh,
given.
yeah.
They deserved better written material. I don't know what happened with Paul Feig there. I think he's even said it on record. Like, he don't know what happened, like with directing and writing that film. He's has said he's a fan. Like he missed something. He missed the heart and
Mhm,
soul of what makes a Ghostbuster film a Ghostbuster film. And there again, I there's it's a film I've watched maybe 3 times at most, and I come away generally positive, but it's always disappointing. I'm like, oh man, those like that team deserved better. And
mhm.
I hated being a critic of that film during this period
Yeah.
because of that vocal minority. Because there's definitely
Right.
conversations I had. We were like, "Oh,
You can
I didn't
have
really like the film."
conversations about what the problem is, but when everybody else is shitting on it just to shit on it,
Yeah,
feels like you can't really talk about the
Mhm.
genuine problems without contributing to
Yeah.
this toxic
And coming from a place of
conversation.
love, like coming from a place
Right,
that
yeah.
absolutely loves Ghostbusters, that IP, that property, lives, breathes, and dies Ghostbusters, to then have a cast that gets announced. I'm like, oh my God, these 4 women are gonna fucking kill it. Like, this is gonna
Mhm,
be amazing. They're gonna capture that love, and like, I know they're talented. They know they're talented, and it
mhm,
just didn't hit, and I was like, "Ah, damn it, this sucks." And then there was all these
mhm.
horrible men online be like, "See, I told you women can't be Ghostbusters, blah, 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 blah." Like Janine Melnitz wasn't there killing it as a Ghostbuster.
Mhm,
But I worry with this film as well, that that vocal minority is gonna be beholden and behooved
mhm.
to, like, say more stuff now, be more vocal because this film didn't do as great, you know? Do
I
you
have
have
some big
I was gonna say,
numbies for you
yeah, go
if
tell
you
me.
want. Okay, these numbies are all coming from Variety. I don't have the byline. Sorry to whoever read this. It looks like okay, so cost of this film is about 170 million, not including marketing budget. WB and DC Studios was allegedly targeting for domestically to make 50 to 55 million opening weekend. And it looks like they hit Sunday's estimate was 38 million domestically and 68 million worldwide.
Okay,
So
okay.
about
Yeah,
12 million below target, which again, we have a holiday weekend coming up. Hopefully that number can pick up a little bit.
yeah,
Anything below 40 million for a superhero film is going to be rough,
yes.
especially with how costly these movies are to make. And I think uh it had a 120 million dollar marketing
Oof,
venture, which is rough. That's a
that is
lot
rough.
of dollars
That
on
is
marketing.
that is sadly very rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm,
so yeah, that's where the worry comes in. And again, I try to stay away from a lot of reviews just so I can have my own specific thoughts. I worry
mhm.
about a site like Variety as well because they have historically been like ones who championed Marty Supreme over Sinners when it's like, really?
That's why I didn't read any of the text from this article,
Exactly,
just
just
the
the facts.
numbers.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, stuff like that. But
Mhm,
I wanted to get that out of the way because there is that vocal
mhm,
minority that I don't want to feed to them. I don't want to, say that, and I want to
mhm.
say from the jump, I enjoyed this film. I really did. We'll get into it
Yeah.
more in a moment, but I did enjoy this film. But Sly,
Do not know what the curls are doing. Sorry. Yes,
they're going
hi.
they're going off in their own little way.
They're going all over
Um,
the place.
hit us with that plot recap.
All right. In this film, Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, joins forces with an unlikely companion on an interstellar journey of vengeance and justice when an unexpected adversary strikes too close to home. Dun dun dun. That
Dun,
was a
dun,
bunch of
dun.
PR bullshit.
Yeah,
But that is a plot recap.
that's true. That is the bare bones. That's even bad for WB standards. As like
Yeah.
we've seen some good ones from them. That's bad. That's
Mhm.
bad.
Mhm.
There's not
That
even
was a
an
rough one.
anonymous Warner Brothers Studios, Warner Brothers PR, nothing. It was just like, hey,
Nope.
this is it.
That's just the log line they wrote. Okay,
um,
fine, whatever.
yeah. So with that being said, hit us with those comic book characters.
We got the titular Supergirl. We got Ruthie, Krypto, my boy, Krem of the Yellow Hills, Lobo, Zor-El, Allura, maybe Conjuro, maybe. And of course, David Cornswood himself, Superman.
Now, here's an interesting question because I didn't even think about this. Since you watched it with open
Uh-huh.
captions, right? Are
Uh-huh.
they the captions where they tell you the speaker's name as well?
Yes.
Okay, so that blue alien near the end that transported Kara to that planet that had the green sun and
Uh-huh.
the yellow sun. He had like the
Yeah.
little kind of like elephant
Uh-huh.
like nose.
Yeah.
Was that Carnjar Road? Because that he looked like it, and I didn't know if they
I
named
don't
him.
know, but he looked like it.
Right? Like I was like, dude, you're a pirate. You're in space. You're
Mhm.
scrawny. You got bug eyes. You got that nose. I'm like, are you Kendra Rowe? I said it out loud in the theater. I was like, is
Let's
that
see if
Kendra
he's
Rowe?
credited.
I looked. I couldn't find anything on IMDb, so that's why I was worried. I was like, who's he?
IMDb has gone to shit lately.
I
Sorry.
look.
Love you, IMDb. Stop making everything paywalled.
Oh, I know, like our review section. God damn.
I know.
You guys will see
RIP.
that soon when the series comes back fully. But yeah, I was worried about that, and also as well. I know they named Seth Rogen's cameo, which was cool. I was hoping the other guy was Space Cabbie,
Mm.
which I know in the film they don't name the driver of like the little space shuttle that they take on the multiple
Mhm.
trips throughout the series in the comic. So I was like, okay, maybe they're just keeping it that. I'm like, but it's that was like a missed opportunity for like a name cameo for hardcore
Mhm.
DC fans. That'd be like, that's fun. Yeah, I don't expect like a
Looks
grand
like they
adventure.
tried to not name anyone they could. Anybody who was vaguely ambiguous got like a descriptive title and not a real name.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of, and I said this for my
Shout
notes
out to
for
Skeevy Dude.
scheming. Oh, that must have been the one at the bar where they kept pulling the chair, like Ruthie, the chair.
Probably.
Yeah,
There's also Wiry Criminal and Brigand Underling.
man, I can only assume the wiry criminal might be
Shout
something
out
rough.
to Harpoon Bride, the one who fired the harpoon at the end.
Oh yeah, she had a cool ass afro. Yeah, I was digging that. I
Oh
was
yeah,
digging
she
that.
did.
Yeah, she did.
Clarissa Camara.
Well, yeah, Clarissa. Yeah, you killed it in that one
We
scene. I was
love
like,
to
yeah,
say
man.
you did kill it.
Yeah, it really did.
Great job.
Um, yeah, that was the only thing, and like it's easier. We could talk about this on another show that we'll tease at the end of this. But like writing
Mhm,
notes for the book, like that's something you don't necessarily need to have a named character. At that point, it kind of that
mhm.
would in the comic it would feel forced for like a
Right,
split, like a page to be like, "Hey, I'm Space Cappy." Da, 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 da. All right, okay.
right.
But in a film where we got 90 minutes to play in this
Uh-huh.
universe again, we haven't seen space in this
Mhm.
universe, right? We've heard of it. We heard of like
Right.
what happens in space, but we're about to get lanterns in 2 months, even though that's Earth based,
Mhm.
like that specific season. We haven't seen too much of space. This is our
Yeah.
first real look at what DC, studios space looks like, what the outers,
Mhm.
all the other sectors and everything look like. And I was like, you could have dropped one or two like named characters. That was like a gripe I had coming out of the film. I'm like, kind
Yeah.
of wish you put somebody in there. Not anybody big. I'm not asking for like a Despero or can you imagine we saw Atrocitus? You're like that
Mhm.
red guy, he's got a lot of rage. How
You're
that
like,
that
"What
would
are
have
you
been
doing
Marvel.
here?"
That'd have been Marvel back in the
Yeah.
day, like Thor: The Dark
Uh-huh.
World Marvel. If
Mhm.
DC was doing that film, it would have been like, hey, that red guy over there with that cat, a lot of rage over there. Dum
Absolutely.
dum dum. We'll see him again. That's what we would see. But that out the way, my little gripe. Let's go into the Andrea Romano roundup as we shout out our voice
Mhm.
director, Queen Andrea Romano. Uh, where do you want to start with this?
Can we start with actually, can we just go in order? I feel like this
Yeah,
is
I'm down.
okay,
Yeah, let's
cool.
start with Kara's origin story. First and foremost,
Mhm.
younger than Clark. How do we feel about this?
Yeah, interesting.
Mhm.
Um, I have conflicting feelings about Kara's origin story. I think, especially as somebody who loves the angst and who loves reading Supercorp fan fiction. I think a really
Fair.
interesting part of Kara's character is this feeling of failure. She was sent on this quest to protect her baby cousin
Mhm.
and make sure he grows up a Kryptonian, and she gets trapped in the Phantom Zone and fails. By the time she reaches Earth, she's still 13, and you know Clark is a whole ass adult. She grew up with this loving family, but grew up as an Earthling and not a Kryptonian. And what does that make her purpose? And she has to grapple with, watching her entire family and planet die in front of her and
Yeah.
losing all purpose and meaning, and the one person she was supposed to have that shares her history doesn't know it. I'm like,
Mhm.
there's just something so delicious and angsty in that. That
Yeah.
being said, the way they set up Kara's origin within this universe, I think is brilliant. I love the idea that she's born post Argo separating from
Yeah.
Krypton. That
Mhm.
is such a cool detail. And the implications of like, what does it mean to be born on basically, a spaceship city planeting your dying planet, and what that means for hope and resilience and like
Yeah.
the power to overcome is so fascinating.
Yeah,
However,
yeah.
go for it. So
No, no, I was gonna say I found it interesting because they really hit home 2 things with this origin, with Argo City specifically. When we see Zor-El, there's a quick, mention when he's talking to Allura as they're going into,
Mhm.
Argo City, like, the base
Right.
basically to set like, break it apart, and that is they see Clark go to space. They see
Mhm.
Kal-El fly off,
Right.
and Allura goes, "Oh, is that your brother's son? Is that Kal-El?" And he's like, "Yes." He's like, "I can't believe they're gonna want him to conquer." So again, for
Mhm.
so many people who don't
Confirmed the
think,
translation that I did
yeah,
not believe was correct.
it was
That's
so
fine.
hard to
I'll eat my words on
believe.
that one.
No, it was so hard to believe, right? And they tell you in the film, I mean, Mr. Terrific tells you, he's like, all the top people, like Luther is not lying
Mhm.
when he has this information. And it's always funny because Luther is such a capital V villain that
Right. Yeah.
he doesn't need to lie. That's how good of a
Uh-huh.
villain Luthor is. He will kill you with the truth. And he has this delicious truth ahead of him
Exactly.
that is this
Mhm.
like paragon of truth and justice and a better tomorrow, was sent here to conquer us, to have a
Mhm.
harem and all this other stuff. So he doesn't need to lie. He can
Mhm.
scare everybody with the truth.
Yeah.
It's just Clark is a good guy.
Uh-huh.
So that confirmation was like, oh, okay, we really are doing this in this universe. And the other
Mhm.
thing was it showed, again, it's hard to say because we don't have any more scenes of Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, and I'm
Mhm.
blanking, unfortunately, who plays Lara in that universe. I do apologize, but we don't have any more scenes with them to see. We may
Mhm.
in Man of Tomorrow. Who knows if we get another flashback or something, because Brainiac is involved in that film. But we don't have any more to see. Like, yes, again, I mentioned this in my Superman review. Yes, that is a negative thing, but as a parent, you want the best for your kid, and unfortunately, they are aliens and misguided in their attempt. They
Yeah.
wanna repopulate Krypton. They want their not only their son to survive, but their
Mhm.
heritage, their planet, like, their livelihood, but they go
Right.
about it in the wrong way.
There's one thing to be like, I want our planet and our family and our name and our history to carry on. There's another to grapple with the fact that obviously the House of L is the social elite on this planet that is
Yeah,
already like super advanced technologically and highly educated and advanced society, and this is the elite of the elite, and of course they're going to think that our baby son is the perfect child who can do no wrong and should go
yeah,
and conquer this puny little planet where they have such primitive technology, and he can be the savior and bring the superiority of Krypton with him. And we have to acknowledge that, and also the fact that they might be blood, but Kal-El's parents are Ma and Pa Kent,
yeah.
and what that means for his character.
And shout out the my next point with the Argo City, introduction and everything is how resilient, how beautiful Zor-El and Allura are in this universe, because
Yeah.
they are basically what you look for in a Jor-El and Lara,
Mhm.
because Zor-El from jump is like, I tried everything I could alongside my brother to tell the Science Council and the rest of Krypton that this is destroying. Jor-El's going his way. I'm doing my thing. I'm gonna try to save as many people and luckily he's like part of a big community in Argo
Mhm.
City. He managed to get as many people as he can to survive. Then
Mhm.
he has 8 years, basically like I don't want to say ruling, but like maybe mayoral. Like he's like the head
Right. Yeah.
of Argo City at that point, him
Uh-huh.
and Allura, to take care of Argo City and its civilians before he even has a child. So it's
Mhm.
8 years of him governing basically Argo City,
Right.
and this man
Kara's born
is
8 years after Argo
yeah,
separates.
and this man is so resilient, so altruistic, and so beautiful, and beautifully played by David Krumholtz. Like, he
Mhm.
did such an amazing
Oh,
job,
yeah.
and he really is the thing that makes Kara good, and they do a special
Mhm.
thing, especially with Allura, to she has this line that's very beautiful. It's like, Kara, when she's passing away, Laura, she
Mhm.
said, "Kara, be good. You don't have to be
Mhm.
nice, but you
Mhm.
be good." And that there's a difference there of being nice
Yeah.
and being a good person. And that shows in
Mhm.
Kara, in this specific Kara that we're seeing, that no matter what, she deserves that symbol. She is of the House of L. She is Supergirl. She is this maid of might, this champion of truth and justice and a better tomorrow. But she's gonna do it her way.
Mhm.
She doesn't have to be nice
Question
about it.
for you,
Mhm.
Carlos. As somebody who also grew up in an area that is known for being not nice
Yeah.
but kind, how hard did that line hit for you?
Dude, it really did. It was like a weird moment in the theater that when she said that, I was like, yeah, like it all made
Yeah.
sense, especially this portrayal of
Uh-huh.
Kara that we saw when she said that line. And it 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 just shows, like, especially what we get in this film and what happens at the end that I want to touch upon later. But like when it happens, like everything that happens to her, you see why she is the way she is. The,
Oh, yeah.
overwhelming powers that she has when she's in Krypton. Seeing it, I'm assuming that, Zora was very upfront with her about Jor-El
Mhm.
wanting to have someone who is, you know, conquering this planet. She comes to Earth.
Mhm.
There's a cousin. He
Mhm.
can't speak a lick of the Kryptonian language.
Mhm.
They play it for last, but then, we've talked about this before in
Yeah.
Superman
Heartbreaking.
Brainiac,
Uh-huh.
when we had JJ on there, the diaspora of Clark living on Earth and
Mhm.
being Kryptonian. We don't really touch upon that in this universe yet. Maybe we will in a future line. We're kind of like playing fast and loose with this universe,
Mhm.
but we do have that where she sees him, she's questioning everything about him. He seems like a nerd from Jump, which he is.
Mhm.
um,
Correct.
why is
Yeah,
he wearing his underwear on the
absolutely.
outside? Uh, so all these Crypto's like worried about him. Like he's
Uh-huh.
even weary of Clark. And we know Clark to be good. We as the
Right.
audience and we who know Superman know Clark to be an altruistic, great, I want to call him a human. And
Mhm.
Kara is hesitant, and I wonder, we don't see a scene like that, but I wonder if Zor-El and Allura were like, "Hey, listen, like or the specific Zor-El, we're gonna send you to Earth. You're gonna have this incredible strength and all this stuff. We want you to survive. We don't want you to die like we are, slowly and
Mhm.
poisonous and all this other stuff. But you know, maybe be weary because the whole
Mhm.
thing of Jor-El was sending him over there, and then she sees and like maybe there's a relief when it comes to Kara when
Mhm.
she gets there and sees, oh wait, he's like my father and my mother. He's a good
Yeah.
person."
Mhm.
So
He's the best of us.
yeah, and that's again despite Jor-El, despite Lara.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
just because of Ma Pa Kent.
Mhm.
So it was a nice little change of pace for their origin. I think at first audibly, I think when Kara mentioned she's like, I was born 8 years after the fall of
Mhm.
Krypton. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was
Right.
like, hold on.
It's like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. And I came home from work today. We had like this, we were just chilling in the pool. We're all talking. I mentioned the film and we were covering it tonight. And I said, yeah, it was a big change. And everyone was like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, she's older than Clark. Like
Yeah,
she's
that's
older than
kind of
Clark at
her
the
whole
time.
deal.
Yeah. And like she's supposed to protect her cousin, her baby that she changed his diaper. She did all this stuff. And now she's here with no purpose. That's
Mhm.
a extra layer that you get in the comics. In this, we don't get that, but they still did a good job of adapting a car that has lost everything and still holds that
Yeah.
rage within her and the destructive behaviors that she's, you know, and when you read Woman of Tomorrow, it's
Mhm.
specifically for her birthday that she has this destructive behavior. But even in the comics for a while, depending on like New 52 or whatever, she's had this destructive
Mhm.
behavior because of her failed mission. In this, it's like not necessarily a failed mission, just loss. This incredible
Yeah,
loss.
grappling with the loss of an entire planet's worth of people, you know?
Yeah, it is interesting. Um,
I do
what did you?
have one
Yeah, go
question
ahead.
for you
Yeah, go ahead.
because my one and only gripe with this change to Kara's origin story, besides the loss of so many angst opportunities,
Hmm.
is I have this like super vivid image in my brain, and I cannot place it, of Kara and like her bestie or whatever on Krypton when
That's
the
right.
dome happens, and her poor bestie is outside this Argo elite Superdome, and she like watches her friend like
Hmm.
basically
Hmm.
be left for dead.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember where this is from, and it's driving me bonkers.
Oh
Do you have any idea?
no, this sounds familiar. I feel like is it an animated movie that we missed? Is it
It's
the Meg?
either animated or it's a comic panel, but I'm leaning towards animated.
I feel like it's the Legion of Superheroes film, right? That we
Was
covered in
it?
Tomorrowverse.
It might have been. I'm
The
gonna
one
have
with
to read this.
Meg Donnelly, though she almost was almost cast as Kara in this film. I
Uh-huh.
feel like it might be that film. I feel like they, or at
Okay.
least she mentions something like that. I feel like there's some
Uh-huh.
kind of talk of like her losing her friend and seeing her die.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I feel like Legion of Superheroes is the closest I've gotten to a real answer so far. So I'll take it. I'm gonna
yeah.
scrub through that film later.
Um, you have a note here about
Mhm.
when we meet crypto for the
Yeah,
first
how
time.
did we meet Krypto?
Ooh, man, I at first I assumed it was just a general funeral for one of the many
Right.
citizens of Argo City. No,
Mhm.
it was her mother's funeral.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, oh my god,
Oh boy.
man. This is one of those times that I wish I could I've talked about it before. A really good friend of mine, Brianna, who is
Mhm.
definitely she's gonna be a, instead of like those single cat ladies, like when they're like 80 and
Uh-huh.
single cat ladies, she's gonna be single dog lady. So this
Mm,
crypto
mhm.
specifically in this
Yeah.
studio series has hit her very, very close to home. She
Mhm.
looks like a combination of her two dogs at home. So, and she just absolutely loves crypto. So I, unfortunately, she didn't get to see the film, just due to some family stuff. So I didn't get to get her words on like what she thought about this change. And
Mhm.
wow, man, what talk about like seeing, like it was like the perfect opportunity. It was like the perfect I need you.
Mhm.
Like Kara needed crypto more than crypto needed Kara in that moment.
Mhm.
And then
Oh
again,
yeah.
that begs the different, or it begs the question. Um, Crypto, a puppy,
Mhm. Mhm.
Argo's been around for 8 years. How many dogs survived?
Here's the thing about the street dogs and the street cats.
Yeah,
They're gonna copulate
yeah,
regardless of the environment around them.
I agree. I agree. So that was like it was
Is he
interesting.
two like half and or maybe full siblings? Dog children? Maybe. Who
Maybe.
knows?
Does that
Street
make him any less
animals. What
cute?
are you gonna do?
No, he's still adorable as hell. Um, yeah,
He might
I
not
thought
be all there upstairs,
it
but
shows.
he sure is damn
It
cute.
it shows. It shows. Um, next you have and this is a very important one, especially with something we have we're gonna talk about at the end of the episode. Is this a good adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow? Uh, I agree with the first note. There's no comment, so that's good.
Mhm.
Comment is
Yeah,
a
we're gonna
very
take that
weird
as a
thing.
positive. I feel like okay, you could do comment in this film. I feel like it would be too much of a detractor from what
Yeah,
this film is about. I like that we have no comment. We do just fine without him. That's fine. You
yeah,
know, he's a divisive comic book figure, and I don't really want that for Supergirl's debut, you know?
yeah. If you don't mind if I start with this one, because this is one that's kind of fresh in my
Mhm.
mind with a reread. I'm currently doing of Woman
Yeah.
of Tomorrow. Um, my one of my biggest gripes with the film
Mhm.
is, though it is a more vibrant, you know, depiction of space and everything that we've seen in a lot of films. Um, and obviously, Craig Gillespie directed this, not James Gunn, who's known for his vibrant colors and things like that. So we don't get like
Mhm.
Guardians of the Galaxy type colors in this film,
Mhm.
and we don't have anything close to Bill Key's, uh, uh,
Yeah.
which was a cool shout out. Anywhere close to her art and colors
Mhm.
of Matthias in there. I wish this film was more colorful with its color palette.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
not drab gray. It's not Zack Snyder gray.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not, depressive, but it's not as beautiful as I would want it to be when you have
Mhm.
this being a loose adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow. And that book is just so utterly gorgeous and beautiful. With that being said, I do like these again, I mentioned this earlier in the top of the show. I do like the DC universe we're setting up in their space sectors.
Mhm.
And while in this we see, Ruthie and her family be sort of normal. I don't want to
Mhm.
say like primitive. Like
They're farmers.
they're farmers and they feel appropriate to
Space
what the
farmers are just like us.
yeah, they're just like Clark. Like if Clark went to that planet,
Yeah.
he would be right at home,
You'd
man.
have a great time.
He would. He'd have a really good time, man. But like they're not as, I don't want to say barbaric. The world that you meet Ruthie in Woman of Tomorrow, pardon me, is very barbarian-esque. Like it is
Mhm.
very, I don't
Like
want to say
the
medieval,
what's
but
that
like,
fighting planet comic
oh,
run?
War World.
War World. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. They're a little more brutal, and Ruthie seeing Kara's ship is a
Mm.
shock to her in the comics.
Right.
Ruthie seeing Kara's ship in this is a means to an end.
Right.
She knows what a spaceship
Because we
is.
don't have comet.
Yeah, yeah, that as well. She knows what a spaceship is. She knows what, a spaceport is. They have a bar
Mhm.
that's normal-ish. It's not like a
Mhm.
tavern that you see in Women of Tomorrow or like many other films. The first person that Kara comes up against when she's drunk is not a barbarian-esque of this planet. He's just like an alien that happens to live on this planet. Like there's a lot of good
Mhm.
things that they do
Yeah.
with this film. Um, so I did like their depiction and what they're doubling down on what is space in this
Right.
universe, and it's a little more civilized. Maybe there's a planet out there that's more, barbarian-esque and they don't know what spaceships are. But I like that in this universe, it wasn't a shock for Ruthie to see a spaceship. It wasn't a shock to see technology, modern technology, to know of certain things and like how different foods are processed. Like here's the interesting one. When they go to their like I want to call it space bodega, but their pit stop.
Mhm. There's
And
space bodega.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they get the popcorn that is obviously tastes
Uh-huh.
like shit because it is a
Yeah.
alien's shit.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
they get the space slushy or whatever. Like
Mhm.
I love stuff like that, and specifically in this universe. I love stuff like that. That feels lived in. It's dirty.
Yeah.
My favorite
Mhm.
sci-fi is dirty sci-fi, which you see like a Blade Runner, Alien. Ridley Scott is really good with that. Like it feels lived in. It feels like purposeful. Like her ship isn't beautiful. Like it's
Mhm.
beautiful to see because it's a really well designed spaceship straight from the comics, but like inside is grimy and dirty and she struggles opening the door
Trash
to go to the
piled
bathroom.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Mhm.
lived in, and I love the lived in universe specifically here that we see. And I like it a little more like once they're off planet, Ruthie and
Mhm.
Kara in the book, you get some of that lived in space, that kind of dirty-esque, like
Mhm.
grungy sci-fi, which is cool, especially in the DC universe. Typically, when we're exposed to space, it's like, look at the Green Lantern Corps. They're so beautiful, clean, and pristine. Look at their science cells. Look, even Guy's bar
Yeah.
on Oa is pretty. Like it's a tavern, but it's a
Mhm.
clean tavern. Not like this where everything's grimy. You know, I
Mhm.
believed when we're introduced to Lobo in this film, I believed this dude was
Oh,
just
yeah.
chilling at this bar. You know,
Yeah,
like
he was in a
that
dive
wasn't
bar.
out that wasn't out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, he's looking for his money and the dude he's trying to kill, but
Mhm.
at the same time, he's like, I'm here, I'll take a drink. You know,
Right.
fuck it, who cares?
Exactly.
What were your thoughts on the art style compared to what we got?
I think this is my one major gripe with the
Mhm,
movie. I love the movie. I love the story. I think the structure is great. I think this is an excellent telling of the story. But this book specifically, I love a self-contained run. I love uh, a short, like 8 to 12 comic run, right? Like
mhm,
that's where I really feel like you can dive your teeth into some meaty, meaningful storytelling.
mm,
And the book of Woman of Tomorrow is one of my top 5 comics solely because of the structure of the book itself, the way it tells its story, the way Ruthie's narrative text box fit into the universe, the colors, how every planet they visit feels unique and bright and vibrant and has its own visual identity is
mhm,
so important to the telling of this story, and it does so masterfully. This is a gorgeously drawn, incredibly colored book. And when we said we were getting Woman of Tomorrow in James Gunn's universe, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy's James Gunn,
yep,
I was so excited because it meant we had a chance to do this book justice and
mhm,
do the coloring justice. And it really fell flat to me in the visual language of this film. Like you said, all the planets felt lived in a really grounded way. I also love a space bodega. I love
yeah,
the spaceship bus stop. I love all the details they drew in from the meat of the story, but the fact that like the whole time I was like, where is the color? Where is the vibrancy? Where is the soul of this story in this movie? You know, like uh, again, if I ignore how this film looks, this is an excellent film. Like, I would give this a really strong rating overall as a film, but I was just so bummed out that they had the opportunity to do a really gorgeous, high concept space,
mhm.
and we didn't really get that. And again, I love this film and I don't want to talk crap about it, but this book is like one of the most gorgeous pieces of art I've seen.
Yeah, I mean,
Period.
there's a reason why, Tom King obviously controversial in his own set of ways for so many reasons as a writer. We tend to
He
like a
has
lot of
its
his
hits and its misses.
yeah, like any good writer, honestly, he really does.
Uh-huh.
But there's a reason why Bill Everly and Matthias Lopez are Eisner
Mhm.
winning artists and
Yeah.
colorists in this because of that is not only is this story like the comic so well received, well done, and a beautiful story, and one of Tom King's best. But
Yeah.
pair that with the art, it takes it to so much of a different level. And that is my biggest gripe as well with the film is that it's just not
Mhm.
overly poppy. And it's something where you the MCU has this overall style, right? John
Mhm.
Favreau's the one who kind of created the style, and then like it's evolved over the years, and now the Russo brothers kind of have invoked a little more comic book into it, and like where we're at
Mhm.
now, it's a little more comfortable with the colors and the costumes that we're getting there. Spider-Man looks amazing in Brand New Day and stuff like that. Daredevil looks amazing in this series. We've got White Tiger, things like that, and now the
Mhm.
costumes, fine, they're all perfectly fine in this
Mhm.
film. Creme,
Oh yeah.
whatever. I'm not even
Right.
worried about his
Fine. Whatever.
adaptation. But
He's not the point of this.
no, he really isn't.
He's
Um,
fine. He's just there.
I one of the things I was really upset about, and is I love humanoid aliens. I do as well because I love
Mhm.
just the idea. I love as much as I love weird aliens and like like just
Mhm.
crazy designs on aliens. I also love that there's just someone who looks like humanoid but has like something different about them that makes them,
Yeah,
quote unquote alien. Ruthie doesn't have her purple eyes. And I thought that
yeah,
was such a missed
right.
opportunity.
Mhm.
Like,
'Cause they're such a potent visual when you are
mhm,
going through the story and you're seeing so much of Kara reflected into this character, and they're both, humanoid-esque, but they have just this one thing that makes them visually different,
yeah,
and yeah, losing that, it was rough. My favorite thing, I love all the, like, alien designs in this
mhm,
movie. I do love having some, like, more humanoid and some more if I'm not questioning how these 2 aliens standing next to each other can reproduce, like, you're not getting weird enough with it. Like, you need to
yeah,
make me really question the fabric of reality
yeah.
with your alien design.
Exactly, like, and that is one of the one of the faults, especially when I think when it comes to, I don't wanna say human writers, we don't know if there's any alien writers out there in the universe, but, like, especially when you read, like, Green Lantern for say, like, John
Mhm,
Stewart, one of his famous loves is Kapatui, and she is
mhm.
a humanoid alien.
Gorgeous,
Yeah, she's gorgeous,
but,
but she's a humanoid
she
looking
looks
alien.
like a human.
She fits in Detroit, like, she just walks down the street, she just looks like a
Mhm,
dark-skinned woman as opposed to
mhm.
she is an alien. I'm trying to think of the was it Arissa, right? She's the one Green Lantern, the younger one that controversially
Oh,
was
god.
Hal Jordan hooked up with her back in the day.
Yeah, I don't remember
Again,
her name, I'm so sorry.
humanoid, but she's like yellow skinned. Sinestro, right, his forehead's a little bigger, but he's purple. Like there's little differences, and then you get him
Aricia.
Arisia, yeah, okay. So like you're not getting weird with it, man. Get weird with it. It's okay.
Weird with it.
It's
Yeah.
fine. Jon Stewart hooked up with what Fatality? That was a villain in the Green
Mhm,
Lantern days, and they hooked up again. Humanoid looking alien. Like, come
mhm.
on, man. Like, I get one of my favorite things, and I don't know if this is a spoiler,
Bring out the monster fucker allegations, like,
dude. I
seriously, get
absolutely,
freaky with it.
yeah, I love one of my favorite series, and I think I've talked about it on here in one of my favorite comic book series. A lot of controversy. I get it. There's a lot of stuff that happens in that book that is weird and hard to read and watch. I'm assuming when they get to it in the series, is Invincible. One of
Mm,
the characters in there, Oliver, is
mhm,
half Viltrumite, which is this very humanoid looking race of aliens that can easily repopulate with a lot of, and their genes are so potent that even if they hook up with a weird bug race, as
mhm.
Nolan does in that series, they still produce a humanoid looking child that happens to be purple and then goes into his like Viltrumite looking skin. He has a very
Mhm,
humanoid earth skin tone eventually. Later on in the series, um, when Oliver leaves Earth and moves to the central planet, like I forget the name of the planet, to work with the coalition of planets, he gets a wife.
mhm,
And when his brother Mark comes out to visit him and move over to the coalition of planets homeworld, he meets his wife for the first time, and she is this very bug looking alien. And there's a
mhm,
couple panels that Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley have where they're just making out and you see all these weird tendrils going all over his face
mhm,
because they love each other. And it's a
mhm,
beautiful moment. And it's played for laughs, obviously, because
mhm.
Eve being Earthling,
Right.
she's seen aliens, but like that's an alien. That's an alien with a capital A
Mhm.
alien. I mean,
Yeah,
and to see that
as it should be.
she's like, oh, okay. Like it's an adjustment for her. And even like
Mhm,
the humanoid alien that, spoilers for that series, she ends up hooking up with somebody later down the line. That guy is like blue, but he has no
mhm.
nose. He has what
Okay,
looks like dreads, but they're like tentacles, like for his hair. He's like aquatic,
okay,
like alien, and
nice.
it's weird enough that like this
Uh-huh.
feels like a lived in world. And I think
That you're
I
questioning how they could reproduce together?
exactly, you know, same thing with
That's the
Nolan.
benchmark.
Yeah, and I think they even make a joke about it. I think Mark in his anger when he sees his father for the first time and sees his new family he's created, he's like, "You made a new family. Like, wait, how can you even do that?" And he's like, "No, that's rude." Or he's like, "No, no, no. Like, literally, how can you do that?" Like, because she's
Yeah.
like a roach looking thing. He hooked up with her like
Mhm.
she's like an ant, and they did it. Um, so yeah, I agree. I wish the DC universe would allow that more. I wish we saw that. And again,
Mhm.
there's a panel the first time Ruthie and Kara are in like the space shuttle, and you
Yeah.
see a lot of weird aliens. And there's a couple like making out, and they're the same race,
Mhm.
but like you see other ones like conversing with each other that are not the same race. And was like, yeah, man,
Mhm.
show me more of that. Just show me like
Exactly. Yeah.
there's no way that that you see these like alien races like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
physically attracted. Like, why isn't Kara attracted to like some weird bug alien? You know?
'Cause they're not brave enough to do it, but we
No.
are.
Yeah, but then you have Mon-El, who is
Uh-huh.
basically
God. Fuck that
kryptonite.
guy.
Yeah, he's Kryptonian light. You know? He's like, "Oh, man, you
You
allergic to
rich ass
this
pomping asshole.
yo, you allergic to this green rock? No, I'm cool with this green rock. Y'all got any lead? Yeah, that shit hurts me, though. Please keep that away from me." Like, okay, get the fuck out of here, stupid ass Kryptonian. Get your ass out of here. Um,
Fucking Daxamites. God.
yeah, oh my god,
Even sounds stupid.
it does. Um, going on to the characterizations, and obviously we're talking about a lot of this, and again, teasing another show as well. We'll talk about this a lot in both episodes. But how were you say you're very happy with the takes of everyone
Mhm.
in the series.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. I think that the standouts for me, uh, Millie Alcock's Kara is still amazing, and even more so when you give her an
Nice.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
Um, I'm so glad that, and I don't know if we even need another movie with him, or if he shows up in anything else. I'm just happy
Uh-huh.
that Jason Momoa got the opportunity to play the character he's always wanted to
Fuck
play,
yeah!
and he was so
He was
goddamn good as
great.
Lobo. I
He
found
was, like,
myself
the
cackling.
perfect level of, like, annoying and,
Mhm.
like, kind of a piece of shit, but he,
Yeah,
like, was doing that with that shit-eating grin, and I was like, "It's Jason Momoa having a great time.
yeah.
I'm here for it."
Dude, I was grinning ear to ear, and I
So
found
good.
myself, like, legitimately laughing so many
Mhm.
times,
And
like,
I don't
while
even
watching the
love
film.
Lobo like that. Like, he's fine, like, I'm pretty indifferent, but I know how much Jason Momoa loves that character and how
Yeah,
he's been itching to play that character for decades
yeah.
and finally got to do it. Oh, it was just great. Yeah. No notes, 10 out of
No,
10. I
listen,
would
if
love for him to just, like, show up, for, like, 30 seconds in
you know what
future
I want?
projects. Like, he's
Honestly,
just
what
there.
I want some kinda maybe I know the Lantern series is gonna be rated R,
Mhm,
but it seems, again, more grounded, we're gritty, we're going for true detective type, they've said that a couple times. I want a Guy Gardner, either short or film,
mhm.
that has Lobo. Because you imagine Nathan Fillion's
Yeah.
Guy Gardner in space teaming up with Jason Momoa's Lobo? Like, that would be fucking incredible. That would be so
Mhm.
awesome and so incredibly insane. Has to be rated R. You can't go anything else but
Oh,
rated
yeah.
R in that film.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but he was fun. He was really fun. I wish I did my only gripe with Lobo, and this is it's a small gripe, and I'm glad maybe he wasn't, like, the focal point of this film, like, he was a cameo, like a capital C cameo, like, you got to see a lot of
Mhm,
him for a cameo. My thing is, I wish we got to see more of his invulnerability,
mhm.
maybe they cut his head off and he's still talking, like a Deadpool
Right, yeah,
kinda, but I also wonder if they're trying to get away from that Deadpool-esque,
that
like,
makes
comparisons
sense.
to him,
That's valid.
because they're both the same, they're mercs with mouths,
Mhm,
they're
yeah,
annoying, people, like, you either love them or hate them. They're very lovable,
mhm,
loved by fans and
mhm,
by the comic book characters they surround themselves with. They're hated, you know?
mhm.
And we came out of the film, and I remember Zoe and Connor looking at me and were like, "Hey, I is this is he a bad guy?" And I said, "If you give him
Yeah.
enough money, he will be." Enough cash? Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
no
And
questions.
it kinda was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" I'm like, "He's like Deadpool." And he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Deadpool, if he generally good person,
Mhm.
but if you give him enough
In
money,
theory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll do something.
Mhm,
He'll hurt, but he'll hurt somebody. Um,
mhm.
so I loved that. I thought Ruthie Eve Ridley, I think she was great as Ruthie.
Yeah, I was a little I was not nervous for the performance, I was
Mhm.
nervous for the writing of Ruthie.
Yes.
Ruthie is such a strongly written character in the book. She has a very strong sense of morality, what is right and wrong. You know, she is young and impressionable, and she has a very specific growth arc throughout the book. And I feel like that could very easily be done poorly in a 90-minute film.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was very impressed with both the performance and how well she was written
Yeah.
and just everything about her story, and especially in relation to the whole child bride plot line of it all
Man,
was very well done in, you know, giving her agency while still put establishing a very feasible risk to her existence.
I agree. And one of the that was one of the changes that I really enjoyed was like the focus
Yeah.
on the toxic masculinity, that focus on the child bride, the grooming and everything that they were
Mhm.
doing. Focusing on
Yeah.
that, I think, was really well done in this film. And that's one of those things where like that's the cool thing about art is that you
Yeah.
can take something like
Uh-huh.
Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, let's change it up a bit, but let's focus on this one thing. Let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about
Mhm.
something that
Yeah.
happens sadly in modern day society, and let's make this like a not necessarily like a revenge fantasy, but like let's make this something where you get some catharsis.
Giving agency to
Yeah,
the characters who need it.
agency as well. Yeah,
Especially, you know, a character who's lost her entire family in front of her eyes and is grappling with what that means as she moves throughout the world and what that means for revenge and healing and growth. And also, you know, shitty things happen everywhere in the world, and I am not like the exception. Like I am not the only one who has witnessed terror, and you know, I can use my strength to improve things for other people. And I really love how she comes out at the end
yeah,
of this film, and it's a gorgeous parallel to the book and really well done. I feel like it stands on its own in this film regardless of source material.
yeah. Um, going
Is
before we
this
move
time
on,
for our secret segment?
I think we're coming up on it. Yeah, very soon. I did want to touch
Okay.
upon one thing before moving on
Mhm.
to our secret segment. Was is there anything you would pull from the comics that wasn't represented that you would want in the film, other than like the colors and things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was my biggest gripe was
yeah,
the colors and the art style and the stylization of like the scripty text boxes telling the story through the frame of Ruthie recounting the story as
yeah,
the oral tradition. I think is so well done. I
yeah.
mean, you know, we get things like that in like the Princess Bride and Deadpool, the Christmas
Oh yes, yes,
version
yes.
or whatever.
The
Like you
PG-13 version. Yeah.
can, yeah, you can do that, that bookend narration very well, and I kinda wish we got to see it, although at the same time, I don't know if that would have fit in to the universe they're trying to make, if that makes
No,
sense.
I agree. I agree. Um, I think for me, especially, rereading the book was that was a big thing for me that I wanted more um Ruthie kind of taking center stage.
Mhm,
I get why as a macro fan, right? You don't want to do that
mhm,
because you have only so much screen time and the movie is unfortunately, it's called Supergirl. You want to focus on cars or else.
mhm,
But I really enjoyed what we got of Ruthie, even though I did want more. I kind of want
mhm.
more of her specifically. So I did really enjoy that. I think this is a quick we can just talk about. Fine, just we'll talk about this at the end. We'll wrap up our whole thing. Let's figure out how we can do this secret section that we're doing right now. How can we both call at the same time?
I don't know. Can you do like a I don't know. We're gonna probably have to cut part of this, but is it possible to do like a like one of those digital phone numbers, like a Google Voice or whatever from your computer?
Oh, we could. We might have to like play around with this someone a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Clip from Young Justice. Hold that thought, everybody. We got another call on the hotline.
Go on hold.
Hello, you are live on the air with Hopefully Awesome.
Hello.
Oh, of course, I muted you. I'm an idiot.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I think we're conferenced in.
Oh, hello. We're in a conference.
We're in a conference call?
Hello, friends. Welcome to Point in Progress.
Oh, it's Point in
Progress. Live recording of our Supergirl 2026 episode.
This is great. I
love it so much.
First time caller, long time viewer, guys. My name's Carlos.
Hello.
Hey, Carlos.
Hello. This is fantastic.
I was like, what's going on?
Doing?
We're pretty good.
We are doing better than we should, better than we deserve. I'll tell you what. I'm joking.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. There you go.
That's what us dads gotta do. Am I right? Are you working hard or hardly working?
Oh my God, Matt. Bring it down a few notches, man.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Oh my God. This is great. I love this. I love this so much. I'll have to like put the video over, like your guys' video over ours, like while we're talking when I edit this video.
Please do.
That's great.
Please do. We would be glad to appear.
Oh my God.
Live inception.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you, like, the way to get to this bit was so complicated. It was well worth it, but so complicated.
Yeah, we were mid-recording, and we saw that you were going live, and we were like, oh, we should call in while we're recording and figure out how to set this up. No pre-planning, so we're glad it happened.
And what's great is y'all could have we could have actually talked like 30 minutes earlier if I'd actually hit the go live button correctly. That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, 15 minutes of us just talking to air.
That's the thing about being a parent, right?
Right. Love it.
Oh God, that's even better.
So how did you all like the movie?
Well, listen, I've been listening. We loved it. We both loved it.
Fantastic.
We have little yeah, I think it was great. Honestly, swear to God, I think it's really a great film. I think we have little constructive criticism, which is like, I wish it was as colorful as the source material of Woman Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I think that's really, I wish like Ruthie's eyes aren't purple. Like, I thought that would have been like a cool touch, intensity. But
for sure.
I do hate that the box office numbers aren't great for this opening weekend. I'm worried about that. Especially with that vocal minority of shitty alpha males out there.
Oh no, God.
Although I will say, I mentioned on ours, the Seattle Saturday at 11 a.m. open caption screening was popping. So I thought this movie was doing great.
It was pretty packed when we went.
Yeah, the
Thursday.
first time we went,
yeah,
it was pretty good. Then when I took Viv, there was all of like 7 people in there, and I was like, well, that was a good run.
Yeah. Wherever we went the first go around, there was a lot of guys in the row with us, and I overheard them as they was walking off. They're like, I really like that. That was good.
Yeah.
But like,
I overheard some other nerds being like,
oh yeah,
I don't understand why they would have went with this story.
I wish it could have went this way. And I was like, who the hell are you?
I mean, here's the thing.
It's called an adaptation for a reason.
Like, here's like real talk. I know we all want to poke fun at the alpha males and stuff, but I have to imagine it's really difficult to have a penis so small that you can't even physically see it.
Yep.
that like it is inside
Oh man.
like a tiny
Please.
vagina. Okay. And like
Jesus,
We're not thinking of
Matt.
their plight, Matt. We're not thinking of theirs, like what they're going through in life. You know, you and me can't sit in their shoes, sir.
I know we can't. Like as hard as I want to imagine having a small penis, it's impossible for me. You know. I'm joking.
Yeah.
That's the life we live. It's a burden in it.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Travis says Matt started making that analogy sound kind of beautiful. Then he made it incredibly not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
close.
That's what I
So close to
do.
the sun. That's what it is.
You okay?
Yes, I'm
So
okay.
listen, guys, we're not gonna hold you up for your recap. I love love your show. I got to at least tell you guys.
Oh, well, thank you. We love
love
you
you all.
guys.
Have
love
a
you
great,
guys.
great rest of your
Yes.
Yeah.
recording.
Hey,
and,
definitely
we'll catch you in the next one,
let us
but-
know when your all's video goes live.
Yeah.
We'll link it out for sure.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do.
Sweet. All
right,
right.
guys.
Love you guys.
Yay.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Point in progress.
That was awesome.
Yes, it was.
They're
What's
so
up, Shiny?
cool.
They're so cool.
Absolutely. Let me unmute you now. And it was worth it. It was worth
That's not the funniest bit we've done. So
That's
worth
up there,
it.
man. That's like the most point in progress thing we've ever done. And I'm so proud of us.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of us. I'm
We've
proud of
done
us.
some pretty silly Colin bits, but
Yeah.
that might be
That's the best one. That's it. That takes the cake, man. I'm
Mhm,
proud of us.
mhm.
I'm proud of us.
Hell yeah.
We got the dunk
figured
on
it
like
out.
we got the dunk on red pill guys. We got to, talk
Hell
about
yeah.
penises. This is the best. God, I love our show. I'm so glad we're back.
Oh man. We're back, baby.
That's
And
right.
speaking of being back, let's talk about our thoughts on this film.
Yeah, let's wrap up. Final section of the Andrea Romano roundup. Sai, is this a good film
Mhm.
/ continuation of the universe?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a good film.
Done.
It's well
Yeah.
done. It is well written. It
Mhm.
is well acted. I feel like it slots in perfectly to the universe that, Superman and Creature Commandos established in this world. It fits their tone and their art's direction, and everything about this film is good. Again, I have some gripes with it. I have some, feelings about the source material, but that does not detract from this being objectively a solid film.
Yeah. I think if I rated it on Letterboxd 3.5 stars.
And I
out of
said,
5.
oof, because I'm too nice.
No, and that's the funny thing because I usually come over. I was like trying to be very critical, like when I was thinking about the review and everything, and like I couldn't think of anything too much other than the colors, and that was like a big sticking point. I know we mentioned that quite a few times in this review, but like that was such a big thing for me. Like I wanted something. Again, you mentioned earlier when you have a studio head that is James Gunn, and we've seen what he's done with Guardians of the Galaxy, and even his Suicide Squad. Very colorful film, even though it's like it's set in this like jungle-esque thing. Like everyone's suits are vibrant, Polka Dot Man looks crazy. Harley has that incredible fight scene where I believe she's not on drugs in that scene. I'm thinking about Birds of Prey. I'm skipping to, but she does have this amazing fight scene where there's flowers everywhere, like how she sees everything. Like, dude, like this dude has style and like he knows what to do with it. So it is a little disappointing when you see the film not be as vibrant as it should be. Now, again, he's not in the director chair, but as I mentioned, you have Jon Favreau who kind of sets the tone for the MCU when it begins, and that shaped the visual style for phase 1 completely, I would say. And if not going into phase 2, a lot of it. Now, by the time we get to phase 3, now we're entering more colors.
We have lots more voices in the conversation. But
and
he
it's changed.
Yeah, really established the visual language of the MCU. And that's what we have the opportunity to do here. We are completely ignoring was it the DCU, the original one called?
DCEU, yeah.
EU, that's what it was.
That's right.
Yeah, we're completely ignoring like the DC EU's legacy that has haunted DC as a property in the live action front for the past decade or so.
Yeah,
And we're trying to establish our own, credibility in this space of superhero giants. And to do that, you have to have a strong, cohesive vision.
Yeah.
And I was hoping for a little more color, but other than that, we have a pretty strong entry.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. I think this film is very well done. I think it's a great continuation, and even the people who are critical and maybe it's not a film that they enjoyed, I think, but like have constructive criticism. I think they're valid and maybe not liking the film. I can see people not liking film. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it like quite a bit, and I think at worst, it's like a little trip at the beginning of this universe where,
Yeah.
we're not giving it the grace that like all these pre-established universes have, right? A Mission Impossible has been going on for so long. How many
Right.
goddamn Godzilla films are there? How many? This is a good thing to bring up because I've been playing 007 First Light. How many James
Okay.
Bond films are there? And how many of them fucking suck? And I am a James Bond fan. I am a huge James Bond fan.
Yeah.
How much Moonraker fucking sucks, dude. He sucks. And to say that, that doesn't take away from what Bond is and how special it is to me. And at worst, this might be a trip. At best, this is a good continuation. It feels like picking up a comic book on a Wednesday. And
Yeah.
being like, damn, this, that was a
That's
pretty
all we
decent
need.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna get more Kara. We know she's in Man of Tomorrow. That is being directed by James Gunn, so that's gonna have crazy. Already, even the screenshots we've seen of Lex Luthor's fucking battle armor is so
Yeah.
vibrant and colorful.
I'm so excited.
Like I'm so in.
I eat
And
that shit up. Yeah.
yeah, man, that doesn't take anything away from like what we got.
And there's
here.
always going to be another Wednesday.
Yeah,
There's
there's gonna
always
be
going to
another
be the
Wednesday.
next drop.
Exactly. And the next drop, August, with lanterns. And I know people are concerned. That was a big concern when some of the trailers came up, right? Hey, man, not enough color. Where's the green? Second trailer. Here's your green. Here's your Green Lantern. You want to see green? Let's see green. And we, as society, I think, have to take everything with like a grain of salt. Yes, there's a lot of superhero fatigue in films. I get it. I'm not saying they're wrong. A lot of people feel like just overwhelmed with the amount of content in general that's out there. B, superhero film content that's out there. I could tell you for a fact, I unfortunately have not watched a lot of Phase 4 MCU films. I want to. I just haven't had the time, like especially when they were coming out in theaters. Like my kids were young enough where I was like, I can't really take now. I can take them to fucking anything. Like we saw Masters of the Universe last week. We saw Supergirl. We saw Fantastic First Steps. But like we had to see Thunderbolts at home. We, had to see Guardians 3. We're eventually going to watch that at home. Like there's things that we have to watch at home because of like limitations I have as a parent. But at the same time, I am also being like, oh man, there's a lot out there. There's a lot out there. And I'm not, that can also be a thing. And that's also a constructive criticism of this film. There is so much content out there. And it's hard because while this is the second film in DC Studios lineup, this is also what number superhero film that came out this year?
This year alone?
Yeah. And mind you, we also consume the animated movies. So we have, as a DC fan, someone who consumes DC content like us, we have this film. We have Lanterns in August. We have DC Nightfall, which we saw our first trailer for. We ourselves are doing a DC movie podcast. So almost every week we're watching a DC film to talk and criticize it. Not criticize in a bad way, but like talk constructively about it.
Critique, capital C, critic. Yeah.
So like it could be overwhelming after a while. We're consuming so much superhero content. Luckily, it's who
Mhm.
we are, and we love superhero content.
Right.
So
We
I
made this choice, you know?
yeah, and like I came out of Supergirl, like that's not a thought for me. There is no superhero fatigue.
Mhm.
Maybe content fatigue,
Yeah.
but not superhero fatigue for
Mhm.
me. I'm always going to be in a world that
Correct.
loves superheroes. If superhero films go away, guess what? I still read comic books, so I still get my superhero fix
Mhm.
no matter what. In the end of the day,
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about this time. I have the fucking tattoos. Like
Mhm.
I have DC tattoos
Yeah.
all over me. Like there's a reason this shit means something to me, man. Like you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So this is a good film. I think you should go check it out. I think you're gonna have a good time. I think, it's thought provoking in some ways that the comic book isn't, and unfortunately it's not as beautiful as the comic book is, but it's a decent adaptation. And the first
Mhm.
telling sign for me that we were gonna get a 1-for-1 was when they dropped the Woman of Tomorrow tag at the end of this film. Because originally it was
Mhm.
titled Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Now, in hindsight,
Mhm.
we know the
Yeah.
next Superman film is called Man of Tomorrow, so
Man
I
of
can see
Tomorrow.
maybe
Doesn't
they
make
wanna be
sense.
redundant, but
But it did foreshadow that we were stepping away from the source
yeah,
material in a pretty major way. And
yeah,
I'm fine with that. Again, like I love the idea of taking inspiration from stories that have come before and putting your own twist
yeah,
on it, taking your own interpretation. But again, when you are so heavily associated with such a seminal Supergirl book, there's certain standards to live up to.
yeah,
I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I love this film. I don't want to be negative
same.
about it anymore.
No, same, dude, same. I don't wanna be negative at all. And I also, I wanna w I agree. I think you should go check it out. I don't wanna beat a dead horse as well. I think this is a really good film. I enjoyed it a lot. If you have any constructive feedback, please leave it down below. I would love to read anyone, whether it be someone, if Mario, I don't know if he got to see the film this weekend, but hey, man, if you watch it,
Mhm.
text us, let us know, because I want to know everyone's kind of thoughts on this, because there's so
Yeah.
many people that I respect that if again, my cousin Louis was like, I didn't really feel it. I'll get it. I
Mhm.
understand where he's coming from. If Cam, who I
Yeah.
talked to before, who me and him were like, dude, people are just overtly negative. Like, this is a good film. If he came out and be like, I wasn't feeling this. I know Cam. I
Mhm.
know that he's a comic book fan, and I know why he wouldn't like
Right.
it. And
Mhm.
I understand. I would come from there, but not these small dick, alpha males that me and Matt were talking about earlier. Not them.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, they can
Um,
fuck off.
fuck them. Yeah.
If you have genuine thoughts and feelings about this movie, we'll love to hear it. But
Absolutely,
if
absolutely.
you're only gonna come here to talk about how small your dick is, get out of
Yeah.
here.
There was 2 things I wanted to kind of bring up before we wrap up the show or move on to at least drama
Mhm.
class. And I don't know how you feel if you had any additional notes as well. I wanted to
Mhm.
touch upon um the biggest thing I grappled with this film at the end of the day, and I thought about it for a couple hours. Like we kind of stayed
Mhm.
downtown Wilmington, and we kind of hung out like a couple places where like the kids and all. And I kept thinking of this as we were chilling. Supergirl kills Krem in this film.
Yeah.
And it's not like how it happens in the books or whatever, it's not like a mercy or anything like that. Just
Mhm.
straight up murders.
Mhm.
And at first, to see a member of the House of L
Mhm.
do it was very shocking. And this is coming from a guy who's been very critical of Superman killing Zod in Man of Steel. Because
Yeah.
while the act of killing Zod in that film doesn't feel justified. Again, it's just 3
Mhm.
dudes. It's a family. It's like 3 people in a family, bro. Fly them up, bro. Just fly them up
Yeah.
high and then punch them away.
Mhm.
Um, we're not talking about like, if you don't kill me, Kal-El, I'm going to destroy, you know, the whole solar system. Like I have
Mhm.
no other choice. I got to kill you. Oh my, and then grapple with that. Like that would have been more intriguing
Mhm.
as if Kara kills Krem.
Mhm.
And for the first stab, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's gonna be it." And maybe she'll, I don't
Mhm.
know, maybe we'll see the Green Lanterns. Like maybe in my head
Mhm.
already when that happened, I was like, maybe we'll get a cameo of like some no-name Green Lanterns. You don't have to show me. You don't have to. They don't have to be named. They can
Mhm.
just be a couple people. Hey, we're gonna throw them in a science cell. And then she stabbed him in the neck.
Mhm.
And I was like, at first, I was like, wow, I'm grappling with this. I'm like really kind of upset because she's
Mhm.
a member of the House of L. And then I remember she's not Clark.
Mhm.
That's the main
Correct.
difference.
She's not Clark.
She is good, not nice.
And
that's important to know.
And that is in the text of this movie. We have explicitly stated her moral compass and her moral guidelines. This is not truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. This is be good.
Yeah.
You don't have to be kind, be good. And what goodness is in this moment is knowing that this monster, whose only driving goal is benefiting himself, is destroying the lives of hundreds of girls on this planet, has ruined so many families. You have this main character who is the last hope of a diaspora who watched her entire planet and community and family wither away in front of her, saying, this child, this 13-year-old child in front of me, desperately needs a way to move on. And I can't let that be her ending this man's life, but I can let it be me removing any threat to her safety in the future. Kara makes a judgment call. She knows that if crime continues to live, he's going to keep doing the same thing. How many other, preteen girls is he going to steal and plunder and do heinous shit with?
Yeah.
And the only way to bring goodness to the absolute tragedy. Another change we didn't talk about from book to movie is in the book, only the dad dies.
Yeah,
it's just the dad. And that is a devastating loss. But in this film, it's her entire family. It's her brother right in front of her, her dad, her mom, all killed by the same maniac. And, when we grapple with what our heroes are and what they stand for and what they mean, when I see somebody like Clark kill, it has to be justified, right?
Yeah.
You have to have, this is galaxy ending and the last resort, because Clark as a character is going to do everything in his power to find the best answer, to find the most life-preserving option.
Yeah.
And if you rationalize that for his character and come to the conclusion that the only way is to eliminate the person in front of him, I buy it. But you have to do a lot of legwork to establish
you really
that
have to.
in order to buy it. We've talked about Batman on this podcast and how many iterations he kills and how often it's poorly handled and isn't portrayed as a fundamental breaking of his psyche and his character. And that's another character, like, if you're not ready to grapple with the absolute ramifications of shattering that man's entire psyche and him legitimately losing his mind, you're not prepared to tell a story where Batman kills.
Yeah.
But with a character like Supergirl, especially one who grew up orbiting a dying planet, her morals can be different,
Yeah. And could this be followed up in Man of Tomorrow? Possibly. Could we see her grapple with it?
Yeah.
Maybe. But
That'd
if
be
they
great.
somehow don't, I don't think it may sound hypocritical as someone who's been very critical of Zack Snyder's choosing to have Clark kill in that film. I think I'm okay, because again, we're talking about two different characters. Just because that S is on them doesn't mean that this is happening. How many times do we talk about Jason in the Bat family? Jason's killed. He's still in the Bat family, right?
Some of it, was arguably not in his right mind, and some of it was 100% in his right mind, and he was making an active choice. So,
yeah, but when you see Kara and
we
this
support
depiction of
women's
Kara,
wrongs.
exactly. When you see this depiction of Kara and what she's been through and who she like, this is another good thing, because Emilia Clarke, I will say, there's something else I wanted to bring up. The legacy of Supergirl on film, whether it be TV screens or film. incredible. Everyone's done a great job.
Mhm.
There hasn't been a bad casting of Supergirl. With that out of
Right.
the way, I don't see Helen Slater's Supergirl killing. I don't see Melissa Benoist's Supergirl killing. I see Sasha Calle's Supergirl killing, as I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
she does too in that film, in
Mhm.
The Flash. I try not to think about that film as much as I can.
Yeah.
But that's a Supergirl that's been through
Completely left
so
that out.
much in that universe.
Mhm.
I see her killing. I don't see Laura Vandervoot, in Smallville. I don't see that
Mhm.
Supergirl killing. Amelia Alcock, I'm not saying
Mhm.
it's an all-time thing, but in this one instance, yes. And does it break
Mhm.
her? No.
Mhm.
We're talking she's
Right.
on a level because of her warrior-esque ways in a way.
Mhm.
She's like Diana. If Diana
Yeah.
kills, that was a choice she
It's the
made.
cost of battle. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a warrior. That was a choice that she made.
Mhm.
And again, similar to Clark, she thought of every angle. But if she makes that choice, trust you, trust me, that was the only choice to make in that moment. She'll
Mhm.
she'll deal with that emotion and what she did later on. But if she had to
Mhm.
kill, she had to kill because she's a warrior.
Yep.
Kara is a warrior in
She's
this
the last bastion of
yeah,
Krypton,
yeah,
and that carries a certain level of responsibility.
yeah,
And we talk about wearing that crest on her chest. That crest means something completely different to her than it does to Clark.
yeah,
That's her family that she watched
die.
die in front of her.
Yeah.
And
And
and that means something different than Clark it being a beacon of this past love that is gone, right?
yeah,
That is a certain sort of loss. The trauma of adoption and growing up not knowing anything about your origin planet, that is a trauma, but makes their relationship to the crest so different.
yeah. And again, when you see like one scene that sticks out to me for Zach, not Zack Snyder, pardon me. I try not to talk too much shit about that. I actually like some of his films. James Gunn's Superman film
Mhm.
is that scene with the kaiju, the genetically altered kaiju that is stomping around Metropolis.
Yeah.
He gets pissed at the Justice Gang for killing him. He's like, I could have found so. He's not angry to his like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you guys, but he's like frustrated because he's like, guys, I could have came up with so many different ways to save him. I could have put him on an intergalactic
Mhm.
zoo. I could have done this. I could have found a way to reverse his growing. Like, you didn't give me a
Mhm.
chance. And then, Mr. Terrific calls him out on it. It was like, what do you mean? Like, rightfully so, pushes back on his ideals. And like, yes, I side
Mhm.
with Clark in that situation, but Mr. Terrific is not wrong as well. Hawk Girl is not wrong in her situation. She kills the leader of whatever foreign country, that is messing with Yangapur, right? Or something. I forget the name of
Mhm.
the yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. But like she's like, hey, you're not gonna kill me, you're like Superman. Oh, I'm not Superman, and just drops him. Hell yeah. Guy probably
Warrior.
killed a bunch of people,
Mhm.
in that fight when they
Yeah.
were protecting the civilians. Um,
Isn't he a military brat
he's a cop.
ish?
No, he's from a cop
He's a cop.
family.
That's right.
He's a
He's a
Baltimore
cop.
PD cop. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Again.
there's a lot to talk about on that one. That's for another time.
Mhm.
But Car is different.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Willing to end a life.
Yeah. But Car is different, than her cousin. And I
Mhm.
think that's a good distinguish. And her doing it is a mercy.
Mhm.
Not necessarily a creme,
Yeah.
but A, to the universe,
Mhm.
and B, to Ruthie.
Mhm.
She tells her, walk away now.
Kid that she spent so much time with and has grown on her, she's
Mhm.
taken Ruthie under her wing, and this is the greatest gift she
Yeah.
can give this person who's had such a tremendous impact on
Yeah.
her last 72 hours of life.
True. And Car could hold the weight of this decision.
Mhm.
Ruthie can't.
Yeah. Mhm.
Ruthie shouldn't hold the weight of that decision.
No.
Because it will eat her up.
Exactly.
Kara is an adult.
Mhm.
She knows what she did.
Mhm.
She can justify her means, and she can move on.
Mhm.
And at the end of this film, she is a stronger Kara emotionally than we see at the beginning of this film, and even at the end of Superman. So to see where she
Oh,
is
yeah.
in Man of Tomorrow is going to be very interesting. I'm really interested to see that, especially if, we as being comic book nerds know Brainiac typically has something to do with the fall of Krypton. So
Oh, yeah.
what is that anger going to show when she's confronted with the
Mhm.
person that destroyed their race?
Mhm.
If that's the origin we're going with, what's that going to show? And that's going to be really interesting to see.
Mhm.
So is there anything you want to touch upon before we move on to drama class?
I just want to give another shout out to Jason Momoa. Good for you, man.
Killed it, man. Killed it.
We're just
Absolutely.
so happy for you.
I'm so I honestly, God, I'm so happy. That's like if I was 10 years younger, a decent actor, and you gave me Kyle Rayner. That's the equivalent. That's how I was like proud of that dude. That's how
Hell
I was
yeah.
with him. All right, moving on to drama class. I picked two of my favorite funny scenes from this. We'll start with this one when Kara crash lands to Earth for the first time. Would you like to be Kara? I'll be Superman.
I don't know how to speak Kryptonian, but sure.
Just make your assumptions, everyone listening. Hi there.
Are you Kal-El?
I'm sorry, I don't I don't I don't speak Kryptonian. I never shoot. I wasn't raised there, so I wasn't raised there. So why am I talking louder?
I want to say, as a deafie, this scene was so cringeworthy in the perfect way.
Yeah.
This is how people talk at me on a regular basis. I was like, oh shit. Clerks, every well-meaning hearing person who don't know what to do when they meet a deaf person in real life. Just the instant panic, the talking louder, the why did I just do that? Like it's literally so perfect.
Listen, he says it at the end, and the stinger at the end of Superman. Oh, I could be a jerk sometimes. When he points out Mr. Turk, like, hey, this what do you want me to do about it? I was just pointing out that it's not lined up. Okay. It's like, oh, everything I could be a jerk sometimes. I love his portrayal of Superman. It's so good. So good. Him and Jack Quaid, man, killing it right now. 1-2 punches Superman. All right, finally. I'll be Lobo if you want to be Kara in this one.
Sure.
Aren't you the ditz from the dive bar?
Funny. I said the same thing about you.
I like how he takes it. He's like, yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. And with that being done, we're going into homeroom. I think we don't have to talk about our final thoughts. I think we eloquently said it. This is a good film. Go check it out. That comes from both of us.
Great film.
Yeah. I think with that being said, though, we can go into your homework for actually next week, as of this posting, is a brand new show we have in Point of Progress. This one I don't think we teased at all.
Hell yeah, it is. We have not. I halfway teased it on an episode of something I recorded in maybe March that I think doesn't come out till August.
Hey, that's appropriate timing because episode 2 will probably be out around that time.
Yeah.
And that is our brand new show, Pip Book Club. Slide, this is your baby. You came up with this in last year. You were thinking about this. And you want to tell the folks out there what Pip Book Club is?
We are always ideating on shows and ideas and episode concepts for this channel. We love having a collective where we can all kind of create the art that speaks to us and create the shows that speak to us. And I've been meaning to find a format for a way to talk about literature in every form over the course of multiple years. And, Pip being such a great hub for all things nerdy really kind of lets me do whatever the hell I want here with my awesome friends, which is great. So the idea for Pip Book Club is it will be monthly. We will have a rotating, lots of different folks popping in for an episode here or there. And we are going to be alternating trade paperbacks and traditional novels every month, and I think it'll be a really fun way to both explore some of those comic books that we spend so much time talking about how we want to discuss on DC Graduates and never really getting to, and it'll also be a great way for me and Cara and Fee to force Carlos to read silly smutty books.
Yep.
So, we're going to have a wide range. I hope there'll be something for everybody in here. And we're really just going to go with the flow and every month, hopefully, bring an entirely different vibe to the show.
Yeah.
So I hope you check it out. And our inaugural episode, as mentioned, will be Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, the trade paperback. Regular edition, not the deluxe edition, because that's the one I have on my shelf.
I have the compact edition and the digital, just in case.
Nice.
Just in case my boss is right behind me at the time when I'm reading. I go, what page was that? Hold on. Yeah, I'm really excited about this new project. I think this is going to be really good. I think it really speaks to who we are as Pip. So I think it was a really good idea you came up with. I'm really excited to tackle. I teased throughout the whole episode, but I'm really excited to tackle the comic book side of this adaptation specifically and kind of talk a little more in depth, like some of the differences. And I'm sure there'll be like another 20 minutes of that episode dedicated to Bill. Am I pronouncing it correct? It's Bilky, right? That's how you pronounce. That's how they pronounce her planet.
Wrong person, friend.
That's how they pronounce her planet, and like the planet's named after her. So I was assuming that's how or Planet Everly. Their art. And I'm sure we'll talk about, Matthias Lopez's coloring, so much in that episode. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited to kind of get the nitty gritty of this and kind of talk about it in more in depth, especially when it comes to comic books too. I'm really excited to launch this. So yeah, that's your homework. You have to read Woman of Tomorrow. I will say, I think with our episodes, you do have a link where people could purchase it from, is it bookshop.org, right? That's the site. They do sell digital, they do sell physical. Not that I try to give them too much credit, this huge company called Amazon. But if you happen to have Kindle Unlimited, that book is on there. So you can, that's part of your Kindle Unlimited subscription. If you happen to have that, or Comixology Unlimited, I think it's on both. Or DC Universe as well. If you subscribe to DC Universe, you can check that out there. Or, as we always mention, support your local library.
Yeah. A lot of libraries will have it on Hoopla, which is great if your library has access to that system. And if you want to support some indie bookstores, I'm going to try to have the bookshop.org link in each Pip Book Club episode to whatever we're discussing that month.
So I'm excited to talk about it. Sly is excited to talk about it. I think that's it for this episode. Sly, before we go, where can people find you?
Come find me on the inaugural episode of Pip Book Club next week.
If I had a button, I gotta set this up so that, but eventually I'll do. Yeah, I'm excited for that. You can find us. I'll do it this time. You can find us on Storygraphs at Nerdaday. Cyclone MC on Storygraphs, where
I think it's just Cyclone.
Oh, is it Cyclone on that one? Okay. Yeah. You can find us on there where you can see what books we're reading, what we've read, what we're currently reading, things like that. A lot of manga for me. Just a lot of manga. Now, it's going to be some actual books in there, but a lot of manga. All right. A lot of manga on there. A lot of Hunter x Hunter. A lot of Jujutsu Kaisen. Actually, I finished that. So I'm done that completely.
Nice. Very exciting.
Yeah. Now I moved on to the sequel series, but that's not what Pip Book Talk is. We're not talking manga on that one yet. Who knows?
Yeah.
The future holds. But yeah, follow us on there. And as always, check out youtube.com/pointedprogress. Special shout out to youtube.com/hopefullyawesome. It was fun. That bit was really funny. So check out Matt and Maggie.
Shout out there. Crossover.
Legitimately, I watch their stuff every week. I think I got busy at one point and I was like falling behind on their Going Back to Smallville, which is one of my favorite podcasts that they do,
Mhm.
where they watch an episode
We've
of
had them
Smallville.
on something. Was it
Yes, one of the podcast episodes.
MC University or was it DC Grads? I don't
haven't had
remember.
them on. I don't think we've had them on either of that, but they have been on the main
Okay.
podcast specifically.
Maybe it was the main
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah, anyways, we've collaborated before.
Yeah,
Big fans
they're
of them.
amazing.
Great to see them doing so well.
Yeah, they're doing amazing. So please support them over again, youtube.com/hopefullyawesome, patreon.com/hopefullyawesome as well. If you have a couple bucks to toss their way, patreon.com/pointinprogress. If you just want to see our musings, again, we're going to try to get better about posting on there. Free for right now. No money. Just, you want to, if we ever be like, hey, you want to support us monetarily, we'll announce it on there. It's not going to be a shock. We'll give you some time. We're not, right now it's just like, hey, y'all see that cool thing? We want to talk about that cool thing. Here's the link to that cool thing. But yeah, that's it for now. But till next time, class is dismissed.